On the night of April 3, 1995, two strangers are positioned on a collision course that results in a 30-year silence for one and a sudden liberation for the other. At 11:30 p.m., 29-year-old Shekhar Radhakrishna is sitting in the back of a car on the Durgapur National Highway. The windshield wipers are running at maximum speed, but inside the cabin, he is insulated from the storm outside. He is moving toward a specific future. He has just closed a technology partnership in Singapore. His briefcase is full of signed contracts, and his wife, Sita, is at home, 8 months pregnant and waiting for his call. At that same minute, 1,000 kilometers away in the northeastern hills, a researcher named Eleanor Hargrove stands at the edge of an overgrown apple orchard. She is there to confront the ground itself. For 50 years, this soil has fed on her family's secrets, demanding their silence in exchange for keeping the restless energy below ground in check. These two people have no connection, but in exactly 22 minutes, their separate realities will intersect. Tragedies don't always arrive from the oncoming lane. Sometimes they are set in motion in absolute silence, thousands of kilometers from where they eventually land. The mechanics of this hillside start deep underground. By 11:40 p.m., the soil is churning with the spirits of epidemic victims buried generations ago without proper rites. Eleanor's grandmother contained this energy by feeding the earth her guilt, adding psychological weight that locked those spirits in place. Now, the orchard demands a new anchor. You can see how the ground actively pulls at the unspoken shame Eleanor carries about her sister's death. But as the clock hits 11:45 p.m., Eleanor changes the terms. She turns on a tape recorder and speaks her failures aloud, starving the ground of the secrecy it requires to maintain its grip. The physical reaction is immediate. As Eleanor lists her regrets, a perfectly ripe apple collapses into black mush in seconds. The orchard relies on a specific logic. Its power is anchored in the weight of things left unsaid. By bringing her shame into the open, Eleanor removes the anchor that holds the ground in place. At 11:51 p.m., Eleanor utters her final command into the dark. Then starve. An unnatural silence falls over the orchard. The low hum that has vibrated through the soil for decades stops entirely. Without the guilt to act as an anchor, the ground violently releases the energy of the unnamed dead. It erupts from the forest floor, tearing through the canopy into the night sky. This massive kinetic release travels instantly across the entire subcontinent. It arrives at the Durgapur National Highway at exactly 11:52 p.m. It hits Shekhar's car with enough force to warp the metal and throw the vehicle completely off the asphalt. There are no explosives or other cars, just a supernatural impact. The narrative follows a strict law of conservation. When Eleanor drops the weight carried for 5 years, that energy lands on someone else. Eleanor packs her bags and leaves the hillside feeling a profound physical relief, entirely unaware of the collateral damage she just triggered. Shekhar survives the crash, but his consciousness is displaced. He enters a coma that will not break for 3 decades. His company, Nova Bridge Systems, collapses almost immediately. As shown on the timeline, corporate expansion lines suddenly fracture and flatline at the moment of the crash, and partnerships are abandoned. The burden shifts to his wife, Sita. For years, she will manually document corporate minutes for a husband who cannot read them, keeping the company's history alive in a stack of notebooks. 9 days later, her son Ram is born. He grows up knowing his father only as a silent figure in a hospital bed. The 11:52 p.m. impact creates a vacuum that draws the next generation towards its center. Years later, the children of these two families find themselves returning to the same hillside to finish what began that night. The faded verse Eleanor found in her grandfather's journal reads, "Whoever saves one life, it is as though he has saved all of humanity." She took those words as a personal mission, but in her successful act of self-salvation, Eleanor unknowingly demanded a 30-year sacrifice from a stranger 1,000 kilometers away.